All right. You guys ready? All right, let's go. Part 2 and 3. I don't. Okay. I don't really know if I have any updates on it, but I will try. Oh yeah. Oh shit. I mean, if you want me to talk about the leaderboards, I probably will. I mean, I'm not going to do any charts or anything. I'm probably just discuss. Yeah, it is. I grew up on this. I always loved this. There's so many episodes. I would say, if I could answer differently, I would say my favorite multi-part story was Utopia, Sound of Drums, The Last of the Time Lords, End of Time 1 and 2, Rings of Akatan, Good Man Goes to War, Angels Take Manhattan, Human Nature, Family Blood. There's so many. I really, you know. Yeah. I mean, I love the Parting of the Ways. That was great. I love Satan Pit and the Impossible Planet. There's a lot. I love Peter Capaldi stuff. I love the one with Missy and the Master. I love the one with Clara when you know, she throws his keys into the, you know, the finale was a Dark Water, and then I don't know what that is. Hootie? I don't know what that is. Yeah, that's great. I was watching that yesterday. I was watching Shooties yesterday, the reality war. I collect the Spider-Man villains. That's what I collect. No. My sons, no. They play, but they're not, they have their own systems, their own accounts. They live in a different state, and they're not trophy hunters. They're not in competition. They're not, they don't play. I mean, they play their own things, but they don't, they're like Marvel Rivals, and, you know, they don't really trophy hunt. They're not into that. They're mostly into PC, I think. I mean, Anthony's into PC. Joe is into like Marvel Rivals or Fortnite. Anthony's probably Valiant or whatever that thing is. And they play different PC games. They could care less about competition, and, you know, they don't give a shit about that stuff. Damn it. Wow. I gotta try to... Damn it. Alright. Jesus. I have. I work for GameStop. I work for Electronic Boutique, which is EB Games, and I work for GameStop. I did the midnight releases of Halo 2, and when Resident Evil 4 first came out, and the original Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, not the Marvels one. I worked in the video game industry back in the day, but I wasn't like I gave up on gaming. I was a store manager. I was a store manager of Electronic Boutique and GameStop. They sent me to conferences. I did really well, actually. I was there for like 3 years, and then I went back to my old company, KB Toys. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I wasn't like a gamer though. I was like a dad. So I was just being a manager, but I wasn't like really, I wasn't a gamer. I took a break from that to be a dad. But I worked in the video game industry, yeah. And I would buy the kids all their systems and everything they wanted. So I did all that. I worked in the video game industry. Long time ago. I liked when I worked in the medical field. That was like my favorite thing. I just got out of my profession and I went to something completely different after Hurricane Sandy, and I was supposed to be marketing, but then I taught myself like different things like billing and everything, and then I wound up getting certifications, and then I assisted in surgeries, and we did dermal ablations, we did phlebectomy, sclerotherapy, liposuction. You know, we like the dermal ablations, the great saphenous vein, small saphenous vein, anterior accessory Giacomini vein. I had fun. It was cool. And then I got into, while I was doing that, I became the manager of the Galaxy Mall. I enjoyed that administrative thing. And wrote some books. Yeah, vascular epicenter. I enjoyed that. Had a good time. It was a lot different than retail, and I loved it. It was a very rewarding experience, and I learned a lot. And I got some medical certifications. I became a sterilization technician. You know, my boss put me through school. It was really nice. Like I said, I really enjoyed that time, and especially I enjoyed working with all those people, even like running the mall and doing all that stuff. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed getting the community together and having a party, Christmas party, establishing that. Did a toy drive, raising money for kids, getting them Christmas presents. I donated my whole YouTube check, and I went to the thing and I bought a whole bunch of toys for the kids. Good times. Well, I'm not there anymore, but I was with the medical practice for what, 8-9 years, I guess? And I guess that would mean maybe quite a few years. I miss that place, though. I really do. I kind of want to go visit everybody. I mean, the medical practice hasn't been around for a while because my boss accepted a promotion with the hospital and he had to close the practice down because he wasn't allowed to practice medicine within a 5-mile radius. So, but there is no vascular epicenter, but there's, you know, the Galaxy Mall still around. But I kind of want to visit. Yeah, so the vascular epicenter was in the Galaxy Mall. So when the times when we weren't doing surgery, when Dr. Steve was working in the hospital, I would be like the manager of the mall throughout the day. And then when Dr. Steve would come back from the hospital, we would do surgery in the afternoon or at night. You know, or he would be off. We would do surgery on his days off. I would do, you know, schedule that. So, like, I think if he was off 1 day or 2 days a week, he would have, like, a full day at vascular epicenter or 2, you know, or if he was on vacation from the hospital, he was, like, you know. doing that, and then I was the mall. I was the manager of the mall. The whole, when I wasn't doing vascular epilepsy and stuff in the same mall. And then I really enjoyed that. We used to go to. Sometimes we did surgeries in the surgery center, Casarelli's, in surgery center in Jersey. So it wasn't always done in the medical office. We went to, I think, 3 different, we went to different places. They had a surgery center. Casarelli had a surgery center. And then he also had a regular office. We used to screen patients at his regular office, and then we performed surgery at the surgery center. No, okay, so certain surgeries were allowed in the medical facility. We had an ultrasound Doppler, we had the, like if you were doing sclerotherapy, it was like an injection, right? So you would inject a detergent that would take out the veins, right? Or phlebotomy, you would have like the hook to pluck out the vein, and then with the thermal ablations, you had a machine that would heat up, and you would stick a catheter in, and you would cook the vein, right, and reroute the deep system. So that could be done in the office. Phlebotomy, I mean, also liposuction too. That was done in the office. That stuff was allowed. If you were doing anything massive, then you would need to do it in a surgery center, but sometimes we did thermal ablations in the surgery center. But a lot of times, like, we were seeing other people's patients, so we did it in their surgery center. No. Liposuction was the stomach. Botox, like we did for the face. The liposuction, we had licenses for everything. We were allowed to do everything we did in the office. We were allowed to do. We had medical certification. We had the board. We had everything. We even had the medical board. Everything was like approved. We didn't really do. I think I did one on my first day. We did liposuction, but then he didn't really do it in the office. He did mostly the thermal ablations, the phlebotomy, the sclerotherapy. I think I did one maybe 2. 1 or 2 liposuctions. I just was in the room with them. I just was talking to the patient. I didn't do anything, just trying to support them, talk to them, and distract them, I guess. But It was fun times. It was good times. Did I just beat the game? I guess I just did. Vascular epicenter. Like we had we had autoclave, that would sterilize the equipment. We had the ultrasound, right? That would be able to see where to go in, right? He had the catheters. They had the all this stuff. It was good times. Good times. I haven't done that in a while. I probably have to renew certain medical certifications that if I went back into that. I don't know. They had well no no, not necessarily. When they were doing liposuction, what the hell was it? I'm trying to remember back then. She was conscious for all that. Unless they choose not to. No, because he in other words, like he practices medicine in the nearby hospital, so as a clause for that, he can't practice that same stuff in a medical practice within 5 miles of where he works in the hospital. So we're in a mall. We were in a mall that was connected to the Galaxy Towers with penthouses and everything. And the town was basically in the air, in the high-rise towers. And all three towers were connected to the mall. And the residents would come to the mall to buy their groceries, to go to different doctors. There was different facilities in there. There was a shoemaker. There was like a tailor. There was a spa. There was realty office. There was a guy that made rings. There was a shipping company in there. There was dance studio in there. There was restaurants in it. What happened? What are you doing?
I'm coming home. I got everything done.
Oh, I didn't even know you were coming home. I thought you were gonna.
No. That's why I went early.
I'm live, but hi everybody.
Sharon's home safe.
Sharon's home safe. Oh wow.
Mama.
You're early.
Yeah, that's why I left her house early.
You know what? Let me get off the stream.
No, do your stream, man.
No, you sure?
I'm home. Yeah, good. Do your thing.
Okay. What was I talking about? I don't know. So I had a good time working. Oh yeah, in the Galaxy Mall there was pharmacy in there. No. The practice was very successful. He got a promotion at the hospital and he signed a contract. She's on the phone. I'll tell her. Well, I guess if he's doing that in a hospital, to get that promotion, he wasn't allowed to have a facility so close to the hospital. So what happened is, like, he lived in the Galaxy Towers, like there's the penthouses and the apartments and everything. So when he would come home from work, or on his days off, he would do surgeries in a surgery center and then go in the elevator and go upstairs and go home, because that's where he lived. It was in Jersey. So It was very convenient for him, and I traveled in. No, he always worked in the hospitals. He worked in 3 different hospitals, right? And he would, in his spare time, come to the medical facility. Like, in other words, when he worked at the hospital, he would come back, and let's say from 5 to 8 or 9, he would do procedures, right? So maybe he would do sclerotherapy, right? People would come in and, you know, he would like wipe out the veins, right? So he probably would do like, say, sclerotherapy or phlebectomy, right? For like a 4 or 5 hour block at night. When we had to do thermoblations, we would like say either do them in the facility, or we went to Cosrelli Surgery Center, and it would take like an hour, I think, or less. It could take an hour, it could take an hour and a half, it could take maybe 45 minutes. You know, as long as he could find the vein and then ablate it with either a radio frequency or laser, depending on like what he was going to do. Most of the time we did radio frequency. And then it basically reroutes the deep system, you know, and then they would have to wear stockings, compression stockings, and then he would tell them to walk as much as possible, you know. Yeah, so most of the time I was doing my mall stuff while he was working in the hospital. Oh, he had a lot of designations. Yeah, he was also he also knew how to use the ultrasound and sonographer or whatever. But like he was cardiovascular. He had a lot of designations, so he did very well. In fact, besides working in the 3 different hospitals that he did, he would often be asked to work on investigations. Once in a while, like, you know, officials like government and different organizations would have him, like they would put him up in a hotel and he would have to investigate like a medical thing from like a crime or something like that. So he did that stuff too, because of his expertise and stuff like that. So he was very in demand, and like it would be where he really wouldn't have had time to do all these things, but he wanted to have his own practice. But when it got to be where he got promoted and he was hopping around doing 3 different hospitals, then it got to be too much. And then when he signed the promotion, he had to close the practice, but he still owned property in the Galaxy Mall. And that office was just, you know, I wound up using it for my mall office, but then he just rented it out to another medical facility that they did other stuff, you know. But it was fun. It was fun. It was a long trip. I used to have to leave here at 4 a.m, and that wasn't fun. But
You did it.
what?
You did it.
I did it. I did it for what? 8 years, 9 years, right?
You did it for a while.
Long time. Yeah, I got up 4 well, I got up before 4 a.m. Then yeah, I still talk to him. I would get up 4 a.m, and oh God, it was so brutal because I would have to either take the train to the ferry, to the subway, to the bus, right? Or if I would just take the express bus, I would take the express bus to the Jersey bus. But most of the time, you have to understand the express bus was super expensive. every single day, right? It was like,
Then
it was like, at the time, what was it, like $6?
I don't know, and then you had a cap on Jersey ticket.
Yeah, it was like $6 one way, and then it was I had to pay for the bus. So I was probably spending like $20 a day just traveling. I mean, I made good money, but I was probably spending like $20 a day, not even counting food, and I would be there, and then I would leave there like late, like 8 at night, and then get home by 10, right?
I wasn't living here then.
What?
You were getting home late.
Yeah.
That's right, 'cause I used to meet you off the expressway. Yes, we were all living here, you're right.
You were living here.
No, but then, yeah, I was,
Yeah.
I used to meet you.
So, but like I had multiple jobs there, like besides Vascular Epicenter and besides Galaxy Mall, there was that magazine that did articles on me about my books and about my YouTube and stuff like that. And after they did so many articles, they wound up hiring me to write stories for them. And I got like jobs like writing articles for them, then doing some administration stuff here there. And then I also helped out the dance studio, get clientele and stuff like that. I worked in there a little bit. And then in Staten Island, I had the fifth job, which is I worked in Petland on the weekends, and then sometimes during the week. When the other jobs were like phasing out. So, and then I took the Staten Island job, which was medical/retail, for like 5 years. So yeah, pretty much. But God, I haven't been to that place in a long time. I thought about like getting more medical certifications to my name, like now, just for the hell of it. But I don't know. I kind of want to visit them, and I also would travel. I would always travel into Manhattan to go to Jersey. So when I was writing books, also when I was working for him, I was scouting locations to take pictures for the books. So I need to go back into the city at some point because I need to get some photos for my new book cover. So that way I could show the team, and then they could do either artwork based on that or, or on my cover, my new cover. But that's next year, really, the new book. I can't get busy with that now. You can't take on too many different things. Like right now, the side gig is the gaming, and the YouTube. But doing a book I would not be able to do the gaming as much, and I wouldn't be able to do YouTube as much. It would be very, very invasive. I also worked for a medical biller. I didn't really like that job, though. I really hated that. Not because of the people, but I just did not like, I did not like bothering people for the money that they owed. Like, that wasn't me. Like, to be like, I was trained so long to be customer service and being nice to people and greeting people and helping people and caring about their needs and identifying and everything, and then to go and become sort of like a fucking nasty fuck to try to get money that they owed or they evaded from their bill. Like, I did not, that went against everything that I was about. And that is why I didn't like that job, not because of the people and not because of the place, but, that's that type of environment. You got to be nasty, and I could not, it was not within my nature to be that. I could not be, I just, it went, like, I was, as soon as I got the job and that's what it was entailed, and, I just, no. I mean, when I had the medical facility, we had hired a organization that would fight for us to get money, and I would get pre-authorization for surgery and everything. But if it was a thing we weren't getting paid, we had an organization that would do that. So when I had to do that in the medical building, and they were teaching me and training me, and then I had to call people up, I couldn't. It did not. It went against every goddamn rule I had set, because I was always about a certain way with customers and patients, and I could not change that up to where I had to be fucking nasty to try to get the money, because it was like a thing to try to get paid. People had evaded surgeries that were like 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. They were like whatever or something or like whatever, and I just was not. That was not me. So I learned stuff, adapted it to medical billing and everything, but I left. I could not, it was not for me. I was not, I couldn't go from being nice to being nasty. I did not, so many years in retail too, trained to be the nicest possible to customers and people, and then now in medical field patients, and then I couldn't go from being super nice to super nasty. That was not me, so I left that. Just wasn't, that's not what I wanted to do. And I'm never doing that again, ever. No way. I'd rather pick up dog shit than to do that. Can't. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed me ranting while I'm gaming. It was a long time ago. I mean, it's almost like so many years. Like, I don't even know what stores are left in that mall. That mall was like always, oh, you're welcome. That mall, I mean, that was a big part of my life, 8, 9 years, something like 2000 and the end of 2013, basically, I started there. And I was there for a long time. I was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Was it 13? 8 years? Let me say, wait. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 7 years, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not in Jersey. I don't live in Jersey, but I do want to visit that place though. It's an interesting place because the town is in the air. So like it's like a part of Jersey that has high-rise buildings like Manhattan. And a town is like the town that I worked in was like 3 blocks, and they all lived in the galaxy, pretty much. Mostly. Like, majority of people lived in the galaxy towers. And Down the street was the precinct and the courthouse and the politicians. And then the other street, there was like pizzeria and everything. And there was some houses and everything. But this town was, we had celebrities and everybody. It was penthouses. There was the towers, the apartments in the Galaxy was you had to have a lot of money to live there. Very expensive. Your pay grade had to be really high. It was just interesting thing, and there was always a battle between the Galaxy Towers and the Galaxy Mall Merchants Association because each one of them wanted to be in control of the Galaxy Mall, and the Galaxy Mall was run by the Mall Merchants Association. So the Towers was like, when they sold stuff, they sold the mall like that, naturally they sold stuff, so they lost the rights to it. But then it was connected to their facility, so it's the weirdest thing. So they've been in court battles for decades because of that, because they tried to get it back, and it's just like, God, the amount of money that was spent, probably millions of dollars on that court battle, probably. But anyway, there was also they used to have a movie theater that closed down, and that was property that probably would be, it could probably, make a studio there. There was so many, I think now they have the town, the politicians and everything, they have offices in the Galaxy Mall now. I think even the police have something in there, and I think there's a birthing center in there too, I think. It's a huge, the Galaxy Mall is a huge thing, but it was a nice experience. It was a nice place. What the hell year was it? I'm trying to think. Hurricane Sandy happened in 2012, and I went to work there I met my boss in 2012. I'm trying to remember. Was I there till 2020?
No.
2019?
You weren't with him for COVID. No. You left him and then you had the pet store in between there. No. Much more years before that.
Well,
You weren't working with him for COVID, not at all.
No. Yeah, I wasn't with him with COVID. No, I was. They closed in what? 2019?
Who are you talking about?
Vascular Epicenter.
Huh? I'm talking about the pet store. I feel like you left him way before that.
No, I'm talking about Vascular Epicenter.
I think it was way before that.
I don't remember, to tell you the truth. I know that I was working at the other job after I left those. I'm doing a live stream. People just asking. Which it doesn't matter. I'm not working there anymore, so I could say where I worked. But my last job, I was with the whole COVID crap. From August, I think. The last job was August 2019, until 2024. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get off here. Nice talking to you. I'll be back later. Take care. Bye for now.